Welcome to my kitchen, friends. We will wait for a few more minutes for others to join us. Today my son is there with me and he is doing the camera work for me because this is my first live show, so I don't know how to handle the camera and the kitchen together. Okay. Welcome, friends. My name is Ainish Isaac and I'm basically a Keralite and currently residing in Abu Dhabi, which is in United Arab Emirates. So here the timing is now 10:30 and I'm going to take you through one of the most delicious and delicate breakfast of Kerala, which is known as appams. Appams are a variety of appams. We have kalappam, we have palappam. So today what I'm going to make is a palappam, which is also called as rice hopper in English. And to go with it, I'm going to make a typical creamy egg curry. And a third recipe will be along with it is vartarcha kadala. Vartarcha means a coconut roasted gravy. In that I have cooked the black chickpea. I hope you will like this recipe. So I will start with showing the ingredients for the appams. These are the ingredients for the appam. Raw rice. You can use any raw rice. Basically, we prefer to have this idli rice or Sona Masuri rice. This will be the perfect one for it. Or if you have basmati is also fine, or parboiled rice is also fine. So I have taken 2 cups of idli rice over here, 1 portion of fresh coconut, and 3/4 cup of cooked rice. Here I have used basmati rice, but again you can use any rice, that is fine. Appams are made in a variety of ways. So today I am going to show the easiest method, which will always go right. That is by using the active dry yeast. If you go in my blog, I have made appams even with fermented toddy. Toddy means the coconut water. I have fermented it, which takes 2 to 3 days. So in case if you do not like using yeast, you do not like the fragrance of the yeast, you can ferment the coconut water and use it in your appam instead of yeast. Some people also use soda or baking powder, but when we come to the authenticity of the recipe, usually it's always toddy water used, or we use the yeast. We don't use soda or baking powder. That's the traditional part. But if you want to use soda or baking powder, yes, you are most welcome to use. So do check out my blog, which is ainishkitchen.blogspot.com. In that I have given a detailed description of how to make appam, and that too I have shown over there how to make flower appam. So you know, when you serve the appams, instead of a round appam, you have an appam displayed in flower shape, and believe me, all the kids like to have such decorated appams. Okay, coming back to the ingredients. Mixture portion is very simple. 2:1:1. Instead of 1, you can even use 3/4 cup of the cooked rice. So basically I just simply remember 2:1:1. Okay. These rice, I soak it in water for 2 to 3 hours. Okay. And then before grinding, what I do, I take 1 teaspoon of yeast, put it in a water for 5 to 10 minutes, and once the foam starts coming, that means your yeast is ready to ferment. Okay, so now after 2 to 3 hours, I will grind this rice along with the coconut, the fresh cooked rice, and the soaked yeast. Okay, and it combines well, make a very smooth paste. Okay, let me just show you how it looks. So I made a smooth paste and allowed it to rest for around 8 to 10 hours. Okay. So this is how the fermented batter looks like. Appam is an easy recipe. At the same time, it is very tricky. You know, see, this is the fermented batter. This is how it looks like. You see, a lot of air bubbles are there. So I'm going to just give a good mix. This fermentation takes around 8 to 10 hours. You have to keep it in a warm place. If the batter is not fermented, the appam does not come out well. See how thin it is. It is almost thinner than the dosa batter. Okay. If you feel the batter is little thick, you can add some more water, and I'll show you the consistency. And I will add little bit of salt. Yeah, one thing I forgot to tell you, while blooming the yeast, to bloom the yeast, what I have done, I have put 1 teaspoon of yeast, water, and 1 tablespoon of sugar I have added. Only then the yeast will bloom. For the yeast to be active, you need sugar. So sugar, water, and yeast. I have kept it for 5 to 10 minutes for it to bloom, and then I have added in the rice and ground it, and then kept it for fermentation. So now I have put little more water and salt to taste. Some people like to make it little more sweeter, so at this stage you can even add 1 more spoon of sugar and mix it well. Salt and sugar, just add it as per your requirement. Let me just taste and see. I need some more salt. So I have mixed it well now, and see, always the appam should have like this air bubbles. You look at these air bubbles on the side. Okay, so my appam's batter is ready. I'll just allow that salt to dissolve. In the meantime, I will just go ahead and start with the kadla curry and egg curry. These are my ingredients for the kadla curry. I had soaked yesterday night to 1 cup of chickpea, and this is how it looks.
Lubna says Kia ben raha hai.
Okay, I'm going to make today Kerala palappams. Okay, and along with it, I'm going to make chickpea in roasted coconut gravy, which we call it as vartarcha kadala curry, and a typical creamy egg curry. Okay, Lubna. These are the ingredients for the kadla curry. 1 cup of chickpea, which I have soaked, and then I have the red chili powder, coriander powder, cumin powder, turmeric powder, ginger and garlic chopped together, onions, tomatoes, and tamarind pulp. The exact measurements I have given on top of the description box, so you can go through the exact measurements. And vartarcha means, again, it is basically a coconut curry. So let's start making the 1 pot instant kadla curry, so that we have enough time to do the other things as well. So my cooker is getting hot, and I will put 1 teaspoon of oil. This curry, you don't require too much of oil because we are using coconut, and coconut gives the natural oils from it. The oil is hot, and to this I will add the ginger garlic. This is a 1 pot recipe, so I'm just preparing it in cooker, and this gets done in fast few minutes only. So my aim over here as a working woman, I am trying to do multitasking things in a short span of time, and we all want to give our family a healthy and a wide spread of breakfast during weekends. So this is how I manage on the weekends, making the kadla curry, making egg curry, and the appams together. So we'll try to finish this session in next 40 minutes. Okay, the ginger garlic has slightly started turning brown. To this I add the onion. Okay, and now I'm going to add the tomato. We don't have to actually brown the onions because we are going to pressure cook, so these onions are automatically going to get mashed with the chickpeas. Chickpea is full of proteins and we would always like to give this to our kids. Let me tell about Kerala recipe. Kerala recipes are more of using coconuts and it's stir frying or cooking, less of cream, less of oil and less of nuts and all. The cooking is very simple, clean cooking. And it does not take much of time. Am I audible to everyone? Okay, now to this I am going to add all the spices which I have shown before. Just pop them all. Roast it for hardly 1 minute. Let me tell about me. I am basically working with a university and I am an HR specialist. And it's since 2 years that I have started into food blogging and I have my own site which is called as ainishkitchen.blogspot.com, and also I started to do some YouTube. Due to workload, I was not consistent in my YouTube channel, so I was lagging on it. And now in the lockdown, we have a lot of time on the weekends and I started doing again my YouTube and becoming active in that. But other than that, my blog is always active, and even my my kitchen page, which is Facebook /Ainish Kitchen, is always active with the recipes and recipe links. Okay, so now the spices have been roasted. To this I will add the chickpeas.
Jwaria's face, it looks amazing.
Thank you so much, Jwaria. Friends, if you wish, you can also tell me from which part of the world you are seeing. I'm from Abu Dhabi, but basically a Malayali. I've been living in Abu Dhabi since last 18 years. Got married and have 2 kids. So managing my profession, passion and home all together. Now I'm adding equal cup of water. I'm actually adding hot water so that the cooking process becomes faster. I will add some salt. I'm not adding at this stage too much salt. Later on we will be adding the salt.
Zinar is from Sri Lanka.
Hi Zinar. So let me close the cooker, and this will take around 4 whistles to almost cook. So we are now in the half the process of kadla curry. we will allow it to cook for some time, or until the chickpea is almost 70 to 80% done, and then I will show you the next step for the kadla curry. In the meantime, we will start with the making the ingredients, or we will start with the ingredients for the appam. This is the tamarind pulp, so I'm just keeping aside. Okay.
Banu says hi and from Melbourne.
Hi Banu, Melbourne is a very beautiful place.
And Indrawati is from South Africa.
Hi Indra. I'm going to show you the ingredients for the egg curry. Egg curry, everybody has a typical way of making. I do also have 4 or 5 methods of making egg curry. So I am going to not show the routine, which is egg roast. So these are the ingredients. For this I have taken ginger, onions, curry leaves. You know, in Kerala everything needs to have a curry leaf for tempering. And then I have half a teaspoon of salt, turmeric powder, chili powder, fennel seeds, and 8 teaspoons of fresh coconut, green chili. Okay, so these are the ingredients, very simple ingredients, very basic, no much of spices, no much of masalas. And for this I have boiled 4 eggs. So we are going to make a curry of 4 eggs. Today what I am going to do, I am going to slit these eggs, make some lines, and I am going to roast in some of the spices. So let's begin doing that. Again, this is one such recipe, you know, not much of oil required for this. So I've just taken half a teaspoon or half a tablespoon of oil. Okay. While the oil heats, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this egg and I'm going to put some slits all over. This is basically, you know, just for the spices to enter into these cuts. Okay, randomly you can put slits. And this process of frying just hardly takes half a minute to 1 minute. That's it. If you don't like to fry your eggs, it's okay. I'm frying it because I just want the eggs to be a little firm in the curry. I don't want them to break out. Okay, so my eggs have been slit. So now let's start with the frying process. To this I am adding the spices. Just half a teaspoon of everything. And just pop in the egg. Just few minutes here and there. The spices should be coated on the egg. My cooker is ready and it's giving out the air now. You know, it's so hot over here, especially in UAE. Now the temperature might be somewhere around 40 degrees. So standing and working in kitchen, you know, it's like you are in the outdoors. It's super hot over here. Okay, so my eggs are done. I'll take them out. That's it. See, it took just hardly 1 minute time. Now I'm keeping the pan for the egg gravy. So 4 whistles are done with the cooker, and I'm going to switch it off. I don't want to disturb everyone. Hi Ajila. You remember, for frying the egg we just took half a teaspoon of oil. Sorry, I mean to say half a tablespoon. The oil is hot enough. To this I am going to add the fennel seeds.
Umaima says the egg look wow.
Thank you, Umaima. I've added ginger now, and I will add the onions. As a working mother, you know, we all want to have something delicious food, but at the same time, you know, which takes less time. So my target or my mission over here is to do things in 40 minutes. 2 delicious and healthy curry along with appam. I will add some salt over here. This recipe, you know, you don't have to be any specific chopping skills, because we are just going to grind all the onions along with the coconut over here. So just random chopping. Same thing even for the kadla curry, you know, I just did random chopping. You don't need any chopping skills or not much time required for the chopping. Make our life easy with cooking, not too complicated. So the onions are becoming translucent. Just hardly half a minute more, and then we will cool it down. I just want the onions burning smell to go away. Once it is translucent, that is enough for us. Don't brown the onions, keep it translucent. The eggs have cooled down now. Thank you, Fauzia. Okay, the onions have become translucent, and I'm switching off the flame. Let me allow it to cool down. Once it is cooled down, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grind it along with these 5 green chilies and coconut. Okay, I'm going to grind it to smooth paste. So let me just start doing that process.
Alexandra says onions and garlic.
For the eggs, you know, I don't prefer to use garlic because garlic has a very pungent taste, and that does not go with the egg. I tried doing that, but you know, I did not like it personally, so I prefer to use only ginger. Ginger gives that freshness to the gravy, and the cumin and the fennel seeds also gives a sweet, fresh taste to the gravy. I don't prefer garlic for this recipe.
Rook says, does it have to be fresh coconut, or can we use desiccated dry coconut?
Preferably fresh coconut for this recipe. But if you have desiccated coconut, you can just pour it in a, you can just put it in a bowl, pour in some warm water, little hot water you can put it, and let it hydrate itself. Otherwise, you know, when you grind it, you will not get the creamy texture. So hot water and desiccated coconut, let it hydrate, and then you can grind it. Okay, so let me, this has cooled down, so let me put it in a mixer and grind it. By that time, my cooker is releasing the pressure. Inside this cooker, as I told you, I have put the kadla, ginger garlic, tomato, onions, and some of the spices, and pressure cooked it for up to 4 whistles. This is the appam batter. You know, making the batter is always very tricky and sometimes it does not turn out very well. So, you know, you have to keep on trying with different variety of rice. Okay. And once you get the trick or the knack or the idea about your rice, because each rice has a different quality, some rice are sticky, some are more starchy. So as I said, I have used over here idli rice, or you can use Sona Masuri rice. That will be more accurate. If you are using any other rice, yeah, I have also tried with basmati rice. It also worked well, but only thing, the basmati rice will be more soft. You will not have a crisp edges. Okay, coming back to the gravy, for the egg, I have ground this coconut along with that onions, which one as I had sauteed few minutes back. So this is how the texture looks like. So we will go to the pan again. I'm using the same pan. And I'm pouring the creamy coconut.
Anne says, I have never seen such a recipe, but it looks very yummy.
Thank you, Anne. We all have our different version of egg curry, and you know, my motto in life is always to make a healthy food with less of oil, less of cream, unless it is really required for the recipe. So now what I'm doing is that I'm cooking the coconut just to have a mild coconut taste. I don't want the raw taste of coconut. Okay. There is no extra spices for this because, what is it? Zarina, I just missed out your question. Can you just ask again? Zina. Okay, Zinar, yeah, thank you, Zinar. Okay, so I am just now taking out the raw fragrance of the coconut. The coconut has started leaving the pan edges. I don't want to cook it more. I don't want to bring out the oil from the coconut. Let it be as it is. And I'm going to add some water to dilute the gravy. Here I have added 1 cup of water. It's up to you how much you require. I'm not using any spices. I'm keeping it as much as natural as possible.
Zina is asking, how was the appam batter made?
Okay, for the appam batter I have used raw rice, or you can use Sona Masuri rice or idli rice, which is easily available in the supermarket. So 2 portions of the rice, 1 portion of fresh coconut, and 1 portion of cooked rice. So basically the you know, the max for the appam is 2:1:1.
And Anne says, I was asking about the appam. I have never heard of it. Can you give more clarification?
Yeah, sure. We are going to make the appams now. I will show you. Also, you know, you can check out my blog, which is ainishkitchen.blogspot.com. In that, I have made the appam in a different way using the homemade fermented toddy, which is coconut water, without using any chemicals like soda or yeast or baking powder.
Artika says, which is the recipe?
We are making Kerala appams along with creamy egg curry and Vartarcha kadla curry. Vartarcha means you know, the roasted coconut gravy in which I have cooked the black chickpea. Okay, let me just taste and see whether I have enough salt and chili. I need some salt over here. Okay.
Anne is saying, can we use ground rice?
Ground rice, do you mean to say the rice powder? No, the rice powder will not affect, you know, the fermentation process will be spoiled. See, you can try with any different type of rice. Each rice has its own texture and quality, and the outcome will be different, you know. The gravy has started to boil on the edges. So now I will add the eggs. Remember the eggs which we have fried in spices. It just took hardly 1 minute to fry these eggs. Okay, so some little bit of spices are over here, and for this gravy I have just used green chili. I wanted to keep it natural, you know. I'm just trying different textures, different colors on my breakfast table. So the creamy egg curry will have white color, and then the kadla curry will have a dark brown color. Okay, here it is. I'm just putting the eggs. And you know, this spice, I'm not going to throw off this extra bit of oil. I'll keep it, you know, for the garnishing.
Anne is saying, okay, should we soak rice and ground it to make appam?
Yes, and you have to soak the rice for 3 to 4 hours and then grind it with the fresh cooked rice and coconut. Just a second, I will show you again the proportion for it. Okay, so I'm covering it and allowing it to properly boil so that the coconut flavors start infusing the into the eggs, and then finally we will do the tadka, that is the tempering. For the tempering we are using pure coconut oil with a little bit of mustard and curry leaves. Okay, it started to boil. I'm just reducing the flame now, covering it. Can you hold this way? Guys, are you able to see everything clearly? Okay, so let it cook slowly. Now getting back to the chickpea curry, which is again an authenticated Kerala recipe. Okay. Don't worry about the water content, you know, we will cook it and we will cook the kadla and we will remove the excess water, so that's not an issue. The kadla is now almost like 70% cooked. We still have to cook further, but before that we will check for the taste. If I have enough spices, salt. Spices we have actually already put, simple spices. And remember, in the beginning I had put little bit of salt because, you know, putting salt in the beginning itself will harden the chickpea. So I'm going to put a little more salt and the tamarind pulp. Check the taste, how much sourness you require. According to that, put it. Yes, Ajila. Once you put all the salt together in one time in the beginning, that it takes long process to cook the kadlas or the chickpeas. Anything, it applies for anything. So what I do always, I put little bit of salt only in the beginning, and then once it is properly cooked, then I add the remaining salt. Now let us check on the egg curry. Okay, so the egg curry is almost done, and I will switch off the flame and remove it off. You know, the difference between any regular kadla curry and Vartarcha kadla curry is the roasted coconut paste. What I do, to save my time, I prepare this coconut paste well in advance. I'll just show you how does it look. Okay, this is the coconut paste. It's nothing but pure coconut roasted along with few curry leaves. This is the tip, what my mother-in-law has taught me. She never goes for the last minute preparing of this Vartara paste. We also called it as Vartara. Vartara means fried paste. So it's just fresh coconut. You roast it along with some curry leaves for the fragrance. Roast it to brown color, and once it is cold, you put it in a grinder, make it smooth paste, put it in a jar and keep it in your kitchen place. If you look at this difference over here, the top part is the natural oil which has come out of this coconut. You can use this oil for the tadkas, or you can use it even in your gravy. So what I usually do when I am making a gravy, I just pick up the paste from the bottom. I don't use the oil at that time, because even this paste, when it cooks, it gives out the natural oil, and this pure coconut oil, I use it for the tadka. So it's like double flavor, and roasting the coconut gives a nuttiness to all the curries. You can do this instantly while you're cooking the kadla. You can roast your coconut, grind it in a mixer, put it in your kadla curry. But to save the time, I prepare this much ahead and keep it in a big jar, keep it in the fridge, and as much I require for a week or 2 weeks time, I transfer it to a glass jar and keep it in my kitchen so that it melts. The moment you keep it in the freezer, it starts to freeze quickly. So this is my easy tip for the Vartara kadla. Do try out this tip, it's really time saving, and plus you have the authenticity of your Kerala recipes. I have not seen, this by any of the branded shops. I have not seen any branded shops making this ready to eat masalas like this ginger garlic. This they have not done it, but my mother-in-law has taught me this one, and I really find it very handy to prepare all the Vartara recipes from Kerala. No, this one is fresh coconut. If you are using desiccated coconut, it will not give you the natural oil. So always use for the Vartara fresh coconut, roast it to brown. If you wish, you can add some spices, but I'm using it for different purpose, so I don't know what spices I will require for which curry. So in general, I just roast the coconut along with few curry leaves, roast it to dark brown, and then once it is cold, I grind it in the mixer, dry grinder. Okay, so this is the secret ingredient for my Vartara kadla curry. Going back to my recipe, I am using 3 tablespoons of this. See, I am not using the oil, I just use the paste. If you like more thicker gravy, you can use more coconut paste. It's up to you. And that's it. Giving a good mix. And I will add 1 sprig of curry leaves. In Kerala, nothing is complete without adding a curry leaf and a coconut. So as you see, even in this recipe, I hardly used 1 tablespoon of oil. You can use coconut oil or any oil is fine. Yes, this coconut Vartara can be used in all the recipes of Kerala where you find, this brown color gravy, which we call it as tiyal. Yeah, tiyals are all made with coconut paste. Not the green, not the fresh coconut paste, but the roasted coconut paste, and that is what we call it as Vartara. Okay, I'm going to transfer the cooker to another gas, and we will start preparing for the appam. Basically, appams are prepared in a pan, like this deep inside. If you see, it's deep inside. It's not a flat pan, and it's called as appa chatti. If you don't have this, not an issue. You can prepare it in any non-stick flat pan. Only thing, you'll not get the shape, of a proper appam. You'll have something like a thick dosha, but that's absolutely okay. So this is called as appa chatti. My pressure cooker, this I think maybe 6-7 years I have been using this pressure cooker. I actually don't use much of pressure cooker, I just use it for making these kadlas or some green lentils. That's all I use my pressure cooker, or to make our Kerala typical red rice, because that's easy for me. Otherwise, in my day-to-day life, I don't use much of pressure cooker. So, my pressure cooker is very old. It's maybe 6 years old. I'm keeping my appa chatti to be hot. Even for this appam, we don't actually require oil. But if you do not have this non-stick pan, not an issue. Take a tissue and just apply a little bit of oil, few drops of oil. Can you move? Is it visible for everyone? Few drops of oil, and just rub around the pan. This is not like dosha. You don't require oil. So while the chatti gets hot, I'm going to get back again to the appam. Somebody had asked this question about what is the mixture I have used for the appam. So this is idli rice I have used, and 2 cups of idli rice, 1 portion of fresh coconut, and 1 portion of cooked rice. See, it is not necessary to have 1 portion exactly. 3/4 cup is enough. So basically, the max for the appam is 2:1:1. Instead of 1, you can just say it as 0.75. Simple technique. And I have used yeast along with it. Yeast, 1 teaspoon of yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar. I've mixed it in water, allowed it to bloom for 5 minutes, and then I have ground all of these ingredients in a mixture and kept it for fermenting for 8 to 10 hours. When you're fermenting, you have to keep this in a dry place, dry, dark and hot place, so that it ferments properly. For appam, the fermentation is very important, extremely important than what you make dosha. So that's why we say making appam is really tricky, because you have rice has a different quality, different stickiness. In the beginning of this session, I had shown the appam batter, how it looked as a fermented. Okay, I have one more batch. Okay, I'll show you how the appam batter looks like. So this is how the fermented appam batter looks. You see all the airs. Okay, the air bubbles. When I made the appam, I put it in 2 bowls because I was afraid, it might ferment and fall down. If you go to my blog, I have put on some tips and tricks how to save your appam batter from falling down. Tips to do the authenticated way, like instead of using yeast or soda. So this is how the appam looks like. To this, you have to add some salt as per taste. If you require little sweetness, you can add even a tablespoon of sugar.
But Anne is saying, if I cannot get idli rice, what can I use?
You can use Sona Masuri rice also. Sona Masuri rice and idli rice are the perfect one. Even the par-boiled rice is perfect for this. For this session, I did an experiment with basmati, because most of the places won't have the Sona Masuri or idli rice, or maybe even par-boiled rice is difficult to get. So I tried this session, even with basmati rice. It worked out well. It was soft enough. Only thing, I did not get the crispy edge, but you have the proper appam. And once you know which rice, is perfect for you, and how long does it take the fermentation process in your kitchen, because each country has a different temperature, so it keeps on varying. For some places it takes around 12 hours up to. Okay, so now I'll show you the first batter where I had mixed the salt and I have made it little diluted. Okay, I hope so this appam turns out well. Okay, getting back to the my chatti is extremely hot now, and I am going to put one heaped ladle of the batter into it. Okay, and just rotate. Usually the first appam doesn't turn out so well. It's okay. As soon as you pour the batter, it starts to bubble like this. That means your appams have fermented properly. It is usually thin on the outer edges and thick in the center. I feel my appam batter is too thick. I'm just going to add little bit of water. I will add just little bit of water to it and mix it well. Now we can cover and cook this one. On the side, my cooker is going to give whistles, so don't get scared. This is the second stage of cooking the chickpeas. Whenever you are cooking the appams, it has to be cooked on a medium high flame. Thank you, Marianne. For the appams, it is 2:1:1. 2 raw rice, 1 cup of coconut, and 1 cup of cooked rice. If you do not have cooked rice at the moment, you can even use the poha. The dried rice poha. Yes, you can use that. See, the appams are already ready, and it's just so smoothly, it just comes out of the pan. Okay, so I'll just take it out and wipe if there's anything residue. So whenever you are putting your batter, always remember to give it a good mix. You have to form the air. Always give a good mix and then only pour in the pan. Okay, so I'm going to put another ladle. The pan has to be piping hot. I will show you how I make the flour appam. See, the pan is too hot. I cannot hold it now. Okay, whatever I could manage, I did it because the pan is extremely hot, as all my burners are burning. The bubbles have come, so this actually shows the perfect recipe of an appam. If you have enough time, you can just brown the edges. Some of them like browned edges, which is actually more crispier. Hardly takes a minute's time. Okay, just look, we are just waiting for the center part to cook. just mixing the batter frequently so that it doesn't sit and rest. Okay, let's check on our appam. Is it done? Yeah. My cooker is whistling and I think the kadlas are almost ready. So I'm switching off the flame and we will just concentrate on the appams. See, if I keep it for longer time, I will have these browner edges. Actually, my kids like to have these brown. If you are making with basmati rice, you will not have like this crispier edge. You will have soft appams. So I'm putting another ladle. The pan is too hot and I'm just making the flower shape appam. Left, right, and then move it diagonally. Yeah. And the remaining batter, you put it in the center. Okay. Is it okay now, Umayma? Yeah, actually I am doing 3 recipes, so that's the reason moving. So we have already done with the egg curry and the kadla curry. Sorry friends, the device got heated and then it got disconnected. So we are continuing to make with our appam. See, now I am going to show you the round shape appam. Sorry guys, the device got heated and it got shut down. So I am back again with the appam making. Thank you for joining. So we are again back in making the appam. So what I have done, I have made this time the round appam. Previously I showed you 2 appams with flower shape. And these appams have to be cooked, in medium high flame, not on a low flame. It cooks up pretty faster. And you will see, when you're cooking, the steam comes out. If you wish, you can just open it and remove the steam outside. Do not put it inside.
Always the center, the guiding inside.
Okay, see, the appams are ready. So I'm just going to do the plating for the appams and I'm showing you what all we had prepared. So this will be the last appam. So let's go to the serving table. See, I have prepared 4 appams and this one is the flower shape appam and 2 I have prepared round appams. If you keep it little more time on the flame, the edges turned out brown and even that is really very good and it tastes really crispy. Let me show you how the appam actually looks, Look at this, it's very hot now. The center part is always bulgy and it is very soft. I hope you can see it. Okay, the appams are hot and Remember the kadla curry which I have done, okay, and the egg curry. It's the same egg curry. What I have done, I have just given the tempering as I have said before. I have used coconut oil, some mustards and curry leaves, tempered it and put it on top of the curry. Thank you. Yeah, the appam actually looks very fluffy. This is the real texture for appam. And there's one good thing, about appam. Appams have always to be eaten fresh. You cannot eat an appam which is made few hours back and then have it with the curry. It never gives you that freshness. Even in the restaurants, when I go to the restaurant, more than having an idli, I always feel safe to have an appam because I know that is always a fresh appam. Once you make it and keep it for few hours, you will understand that it becomes hard and little bit of a rubbery or a plastic texture. So appams always eaten fresh. And this is how the typical Kerala breakfast looks like. Appam, egg curry and vartarcha kadla curry. I hope you have loved this session. You have learned a lot from me, and I also look forward for the sessions from the upcoming participants. And do visit my blog and check out the upcoming new recipes, which is mostly health conscious, and I have tried it on my family and they have loved it. After trying out on them only, I write down the recipe on my blog or I make a YouTube video about it. Umaima, your question about making the appams in advance, no, actually it's not so tasty. Yeah, but maybe you can make it few hours or maybe 1 hour before you can make it. But at the time of serving it, make sure that you steam them again to have the freshness. And appams are so easy to make. You just make the batter, keep it ready. Once your guest comes in, quickly make. Each appam takes hardly a minute, and then that freshness is really something great. Let me show how the appam center looks like. Now it has cooled down, so I can touch it. See how airy and how soft it is. This is how a fresh appam looks like. And once you make it and keep it out for 1 to 2 hours, then this part becomes hard and it's not so tasty. You lose the authenticity of the ingredient, you lose the authenticity of the recipe. Thank you, Umaima, for giving me this opportunity to come on live. This is my first live session, and extremely sorry that in between I had to get disconnected and then restart. I'm very sorry for that inconvenience. I hope you love this session. Any questions? Thank you, Mama. So we are coming to an end of this session. Let me finally show you how the recipe, how my dishes turned out well. See, these all we have prepared in a time of 40 to 50 minutes, maximum 50 minutes. So some appams, vartarcha kadla curry, and then the creamy coconut egg curry. Should I serve you all? See how well the curry is, It's really very nice. And there's no artificial spice on this. I have used green chili as a gravy and coconut. And for this I have used all our standard normal spices. Very simple recipe. Easy to make. Thank you all for joining me in this session. Sure, Nargis, my session will be recorded in Muslim recipe food page, and you can check out the recipe, and I will also go through my ingredient list which I have already given in the description. Let me go through it once again. If there is anything to be finalized or changed, then I will do so. Please feel free to write down your comments and I will get back to you. Thank you so much.